Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Broom Brothers, a very special first ever in-person edition of the show. We are here at the T-Line in Nashville, Tennessee for the 2025 GSOC and TCG All-Star Game. John Cullen, and with me, as always, my better half and my skull-shirted half.
That's right.
Robbie Doherty. We bought matching shirts by accident.
On purpose.
Yeah. And so I wore that yesterday. We had to actually text each other and say, hey, which day are you wearing your skull shirt?
Yeah, John doesn't want to say it, but we actually arm wrestled to see who could wear it first. I won, so anyway.
Yeah, so Robbie's wearing the skull shirt. I'm wearing my just more traditional shirt, and we're pleased to be joined by the CEO of the curling group, Nick Sulsky. And Nick, I think we'll just start very chill, very basic. I mean, we're here in Nashville. We're here at the All-Star Game. We're on day 2. Tell us a little bit about how it's all been going so far from your perspective.
Tired. Oh, I'm not. Curlers plus Nashville equals, as our amazing teammate Jess Zabo would post, just skull and bones.
Yeah.
That's an understatement.
A lot of skull and bones going on here in Nashville this week, for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's been, the fans here seem like they're having a great time. Curlers seem like they're having a great time. Yeah, I mean, it's really been something special for the sport, I think.
It's been something special for the sport. I mean, it's been something special for me.
Yeah.
I think it's just been absolutely incredible to see this thing actually get going. I can't wait for the actual All-Star Game to kick off a little bit later today. But yesterday, the Pro-Am was some of the most fun content I've ever been able to witness with my own eyes, right? The curlers were awesome. George Kittle came out and had a blast and actually curled really well.
Yeah, he's surprisingly good for a guy who hasn't curled that much.
Yeah, and then Brad Jacobs won the night, being one of the greatest judges in the history of any competition ever.
He was something for sure.
Dude, and then it continued last night down on Broadway at good old Tootsie's until 3 a.m. or so, although I admittedly tapped out a little bit before that. It's been a long week. I mean, even the players last week was incredible. We did some super fun stuff, and yeah, I'm tired. I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
Let's jump into that, though, a little bit. Last week at the Players, it was a great event, but it was a great season. Every event seemed to have its own little niche and what made it special, and great fans. We definitely looked like a lot more people in the seats, louder crowds, very engaged crowds. Talk about the year, your thoughts for year one. How did it go based on your expectations? Just anything pop out in your mind?
I mean, I'm really proud. I'm really proud of the team. I think everybody, we had a lot of ideas. And the thing that I love the most thinking back on this year was how each event, starting in Charlottetown, each event we tested new things, we started to do new things, and each event got bigger and better. And that's the most exciting thing for us. Like, I haven't been shy about my lack of curling experience. My lack of curling ability, my lack of being able to time Brinks trucks driving by. Are incredible.
We tried to call Brinks, and they said, look, we got to come through here at
But
this
now
time.
we learn next time we do an outdoor podcast, we just need to make sure that we have successfully blocked off all the streets.
We need a little dome. We need like a geodesic dome we can all do this in.
Yeah, it's true. But this is the thing. You roll with the punches, right? Some of the things we did this season worked. Some of them didn't. But I think that considering how far we've taken things over the first 5 events, and we have an off season to plan some other amazing things. I'm really excited about what the future holds for GSOC.
Before we get to that off-season piece, that's kind of the reason why we're here. You said
not just here because you wanted to chat.
Well, I love to chat to you too. We'd have you on anytime. You know that. I mean, you also own this podcast and pay for it. So you can literally come on whenever you want.
We mean it, sir. Anytime.
Yeah, anytime. Anytime
sir.
Papa wants to be on the pod, he's allowed to come on. No, but you talked about this. Like you said, you're new to the curling world in a way. You've only kind of been involved with it for the last 4 or 5 years or so, and you're talking about your first year with some of your vision. And I know you had to also you couldn't just change everything all at once. There's a little bit of catering to the old vision as well. You talked about there were some things you thought worked, some things you didn't think worked. Can you elaborate on that a little bit? Like, what are some things that you're really excited about to keep going and bringing into next year? And maybe some things you thought, we tried it, but it didn't quite come off.
Yeah, well, I'll start there. I mean, I think like we tested the hat cam, right?
Yeah.
I really loved the idea of that perspective. But at the end of the day, sometimes, technology and innovation takes a bit of time to kind of perfect, right? So the actual camera perspective of the sweepers of the sliders, a little jittery, wasn't a little bit, so, I think that will it come back? Yes. Was it ready for what we wanted yet? No, not necessarily, right? So I think that one didn't necessarily work the way that we wanted it to work. But, as far as things that did work, I mean, I think the Grand Slam of karaoke is pretty damn cool.
No kidding.
Right?
Yeah.
Mr. Break stuff? Like,
Wow.
holy shit, brother. That was unbelievable.
Thank you.
That was
Thank
awesome.
you.
But, I mean, I think that, honestly, the thing, like, again, each event, something new and cool kind of happened. The last event of the players, the banana bunch.
The Banana Republic.
When Penny. Like, honestly, one of my favorite things after Brad Jacobs being a judge last night was the fact that on Thursday, the banana guys showed up. And then Friday morning, Penny, this 12-year-old girl who saw the banana costumes and decided that she wanted to join them. That was so awesome. And then the way the crowd was reacting throughout the week, the crowd got more and more excited about the peel, which is arguably the most boring shot in
No, not arguably. Yeah.
now just becomes something that the crowd gets excited for.
Yeah, totally.
And that to me, that's like the perfect encapsulation of what we want to see with this sport. The sport's fun. We want people to come. Sports are fun, right?
Well, that's what makes sports fun. It's not just
100%.
the perspective around it. You go to a ball game, and it's funny to see them hanging the K signs for every strikeout. And of course.
Well, and that's it. Like, I think curling fans forever, I know curlers, because I've had the great pleasure of talking to a lot of them, they want the permission to have fun.
Yeah.
I think we saw that in St. John's when Jacobs was booed by the crowd and lapped it up, and that was awesome. The walkouts that we started in St. John's, and now the slide outs. It's like, each step you can start building more and more things, but I think that it's that permission to have fun. That's what I'm here for.
Right.
And I think the fans are starting to kind of buy into it.
Totally. Well, you and I were texting about that when we had Brad Jacobs on Broom Brothers, and he said that line about just don't get kicked out, and you really latched on that. It's like, do whatever you want, just don't do something dumb enough to get kicked out, but we want you to, other than that, just have a blast and go nuts and go as far as you can without
Push the limits.
Yeah, push the limits without being unreasonable. Have a good time.
Well, my wife and our incredible head of PR and comms, Jenny Cram, are very proud of me for not streaking during any event this year, because
I'm proud of you for that too.
It's very possible that could have been a bad thing, but a very, very good thing.
I think I'm siding with your wife and Jenny Cram.
Looking forward, like obviously a year of growth, a lot of new things that worked awesome. Fans had a great time. I think there's definitely a lot more traction for the sport on social media. How do you grow from here? What's next?
That's a leading question. Well, we have to continue creating incredible content, right? We need to be able to continue putting that content out to the curling fans all over the world. We actually haven't spent a lot of time and energy doing any paid marketing yet. We're going to start doing that. Doing other great events like the Battle of the Sexes, let's face it, that was amazing.
That was, yeah.
Right? And the All-Star Game. But let's face it, the thing that got me so excited about jumping into this sport is I've never experienced another business opportunity, and to use a Back to the Future reference because I'm old, is we know exactly when lightning is going to strike the clock tower. February of 2026, the entire world is going to fall in love with curling like they do every 4 years.
Yeah.
So our goal, GSOC next year is going to be incredible. We have great locations. We're going to the States. We're going to Ottawa for the first time. That's all going to be awesome. We're going to continue to do great things. Our job, though, is to harness and leverage the power of curling during the Olympics that we know is coming, and leverage that for the sport to take the next big step. And that is where I know you were leading, and that's why I'm sitting here. So I'm burying the lead. But what we're announcing and what we have announced.
Yeah, this is launch day. This podcast is coming out on launch day. The announcement is out.
That's right.
Tell us about it.
So everybody who's watching right now has to keep their mouth shut.
We're in the cone of silence.
Right? The dome of silence.
Yes.
Except for Brinks trucks. So coming out of the Olympics in the spring of 2026, Rock League is launching. Curling Unleashed. as some folks and I like to think of it. It's going to be exciting. I think it's time for curling to be a proper professionalized sport with proper franchises, proper teams. We're going to have 6 teams. There's going to be an Asian team, 2 European teams, 2 Canadian teams, and an American team. 5 incredible male and female curlers on each team. So 10 total curlers on each team. Effectively, it's the first mixed gender pro sports team league, which is so exciting. Curling, historically, as everybody knows, was the first sport that had equal prize money for men and women. So let's launch the first ever mixed gender professional sports league.
I love it. I mean, you have talked about, really since you took over the slams, about meeting that lightning striking the clock tower moment. And I'm sure people are, probably going nuts on social media today and thinking about, what does this mean? Why was it a league that sort of, why was that the idea coming out of the Olympics, April 2026? We've got to capitalize on all these people watching curling. What is it about a league that you think is the best way to kind of drive the sport forward?
Well, I mean, I think curling, one, needs a predictable kind of season, right? I think it's great. Why is curling one of the only sports where, the all-stars don't get together? Whether it's, we just saw the Four Nations Cup, there's World Cups, there's Why is curling has never had that before? The reality is there have been an explosion of a lot of kind of secondary and niche sports pro leagues, right? And as much as I'm the CEO of the curling group, but I've been a serial entrepreneur my entire life. There's a lot of investment dollar. There's a lot of money to be made right now in the world of sport by owning and creating new IP, new properties, and being able to own and operate a franchise-based professional curling league is very exciting for all of us. And it's finally going to put the curlers on the pedestal, on the platform that they need. There's going to be salaries. They're going to be treated like real professional athletes, and they will no longer, as an example, and not to call out any specific curlers, but let's face it, for us Canadian fans that were able to watch the Brier, we had a breakout curler, Colton Lott. He absolutely, not only did he win not only is he a former Canadian mixed doubles champion, but he absolutely broke out. Now, Colton Lott is the 3rd for Team Dunstone. Now, I love the Sheriff. Dunny's a great dude. But Team Dunstone, what the fuck is a Dunstone? Seriously, right? Now,
Cousin of the kidney stone.
that's it.
That's what you call it after you get rid of it. It's a Dunstone.
Yeah.
Dunstone. So, if we're going to create a star system, which the sport needs, is it better for Colton Lott to be the 3rd of Team Dunstone or the 3rd of the Canadian team? And we're not ready to describe or to disclose what the names of the franchises are.
Right.
Happy to get into some details around how the league is going to get structured.
Yeah, would love to.
Who the captains are. But it's all about creating a star system, giving fans all over the world the opportunity, with no disrespect, and I'll keep picking on Dunstone. I haven't seen anybody buy a Team Dunstone jersey. Right, I don't see people walking around Team Dunstone hats.
No.
Now, he's got a lot of fans, don't get me wrong, and I am one of them, candidly. But, look at every other sport. Your jerseys, your hats, great. It's a fandom.
It's a franchise.
It's a franchise, right? And at the end of the day, that's how this sport wins, right? Is we need to grow the value within the entire ecosystem, because then the players are going to get paid more money. Then, there's other verticals to be able to engage. It's all about giving fans more ways to have fun, not just with the sport, but with the incredible curlers that they're watching.
And just to elaborate, I started curling when I was later. I think I was 15 or 16 when I started. I always watched the Brier, the Scotties when it was on, so I knew a little bit about how to play the game. I was always interested in the game. But 2 things. I remember when I got into curling and I would start to look around more and I'd follow Bonspiels and especially Grand Slam events, I always wondered that. Why are they a team with a last name? It just didn't make sense to me as an uneducated fan of the sport at that time. And I also remember going to my first ever live curling event, which is the 03 Brier, and I wanted to buy a PEI jersey. I was assuming you could walk in and, like any other sport, if you go to a Leafs game or if you go to a Blue Jays game, you can just buy the jersey. There was nothing like that.
Well,
so it's exciting in terms of not just for the players and the league, but for fans to get involved, to get emotionally invested as well.
Well, and let's face it, curling has an incredible built-in fan base, right? We know, like, there's 284 million people all over the world have watched more than 10 hours of curling each year. Like, that's a big number.
Yeah.
So curling has a big fandom, but candidly, a lot of the current curling fan is in the in the older demographic, right? We need to inject youthfulness into the sport. We need to grow the casual sports fan. We need to convert them into curling fans. And I think it's very complicated for them to understand what is a team Dunstone, what is a team McEwen, what is a team Jacobs, what's a team Gushu. Like, but when you actually have teams, when it's actually structured and messaged like other professional sports leagues, I think it's going to be undeniable for fans to start falling in love with curling the way that kind of we all have already.
Sure. Now, when you talk about the franchise model, I know we're starting with 6 teams. You're saying they're geographically based. I know that we're a ways out from the specific details, but are you envisioning these franchises are going to belong to cities? Like, are we going to see the 2 Canadian teams, one plays out of Calgary and one plays out of Winnipeg, and in Asia, they play out of Hokkaido or Seoul, whatever? Is it going to be like that, or is it going to be overarching, you're representing the region? Like, do you know what that's going to look like yet?
Yeah, no, I mean, we're going to build and we're going to run this league similar to the way that F1 is built, where we're traveling circus, right? I will say, we're not ready to announce the locations where Rock League is going to premiere, but I will say we will have locations in Canada, the US, and in Europe in the first year. Our plan will be to have events in Asia the following season. Each of the weeks will run from Thursday through Sunday. There'll be 4 days. And again, five guys, 5 girls on each team. So it's not just going to be 4s and 4s. It could be mixed 4s. It could be mixed doubles. It could be 3s. It could be skins games. It's similar if you think of like the Ryder Cup, right? Mm-hmm. And as it boils down to the franchise, now we are not assigning franchises specific cities. They will be assigned to the general regions. We, as the curling group, are going to grow and operate all the teams, all of the events in the entire league. Hopefully the curling community has as much trust and faith in the curling group to operate curling events as the curlers are, and as we've shown with this year with the slams. So we're going to own and operate everything. The plan will be, by year 3, that we will eventually sell franchises to an ownership group within those regions. And then it will be up to them, right? Then it'll be up to them. If they want to attach a specific name to their franchise, city name, they can. If they want to keep it more general, because then, I mean, at the end of the day, if you have a Canadian team, is it necessarily smart to attach it to one Canadian city? Or you can have a region and you can move those events, because each franchise at that point will then get the right to host one of their own.
Maybe like a Western Canada team, an Ontario team, a Maritimes team, or whatever.
And we're starting with 6, but we will expand.
Of course.
Right? We will expand the teams. And right now, it's only 60 total curlers are going to be in the league, right? So, that's not a lot in the grand scheme of things, right? Every slam has, 128 curlers are in every slam, right? So, and this is the thing. I am not a curler, so it's very important for these teams to be constructed with curlers who are not only excellent curlers, but are also marketable, who also buy in to the vision of what's needed to grow the sport.
Yep.
We can't grow the sport just by the sport itself. We need to grow it with content, with events like the Grand Slam of Karaoke. We need great content like the Broom Brothers, right? So John Morris and Jen Jones, they are special advisors to the curling group. They've been very involved with us from the very beginning. The 2 of them are actually constructing all of the teams. We needed experts who understand the personalities and the dynamics of all the curlers, but also understand the sport, right? The exciting thing is we are very proud today to announce the first 6 official members of Rock League, the captains of each team. So in Canada, the 2 captains are Rachel Homan and Brad Jacobs. In the US, it's Corey Dropkin. In Europe, one of the teams is captained by Alina Pats. The other team is captained by Bruce Mowat. And the Asian team is captained by Chinami Yoshida. Those are the 6 best people in those areas to be our captains. And They are incredible. They're dynamic, and they have absolutely bought into what's needed to help grow this sport.
I love it. I mean, when you brought this idea, because I know this has obviously been in the works pretty much since you took over, when you brought the idea to those curlers, because like you said, you're talking about some of the biggest names in the sport here, Rachel, Bruce, Brad, etc.
Yeah.
When you brought it to them, I'm curious to know their initial reaction. Were they immediately excited? Was there some explanation involved? Like, how did it all come together with, some of those big personalities in the sport in terms of getting them to, for lack of a better word, sign on the dotted line?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it wasn't just me. It was a team effort, right? I mean, I think at the end of the day, personally, I've spent a better part of a couple of years just trying to earn the trust and earn the respect of the curlers, regardless of the fact that I've become friends with a lot of them, but I think they've gotten to know me. Now, this is the true story. So before I decided to jump in and do the curling group and take over the slams, I was going down to the Briar in 23 in London. I think it was 2023.
Yep.
Was the Briar.
Yep.
And, I'd been blessed with getting to become friends with John Morris. Anyone who knows Johnny, he's the biggest beauty I think the sports world has ever seen. Like, the guy's amazing. Anyway, so I picked Johnny up in Waterloo to drive him down to London. And this was my opportunity because I'd been thinking about a pro league. Like, why doesn't curling have a professional league? And of course, it's been structured this way for hundreds of years. Well, maybe not the way that it's structured right now, but it's been structured like this for decades and decades. So that car ride was my opportunity to pitch this idea to Johnny, because I knew that it wouldn't work unless the curlers would buy into this. So I remember in the car, and I just asked Johnny, I'm like, Johnny, here's an idea. What do you think about the idea of a professional curling league? The curlers support playing with people that they don't always play with, like all-star teams. Johnny said absolutely yes. And as soon as Johnny said yes, we were in business, because I knew that in order to get the curlers to sign on the dotted line, it'd be really important for them to have faith and trust in me. But being able to have John and Jen Jones, the three of us did the initial meetings together. I think it was really important for some of the current curlers to understand where we were coming from, to understand why we were doing this, and then to know that it wasn't just some crazy guy who wants to make a lot of money or whatever it is who's doing this. Now, don't get me wrong, I want to make a lot of money. But at the end of the day, it's trickle down, right? The more money that we make as a business, the more money the curlers are going to make. And it's about time these curlers made more money. So to answer your question more directly, there were questions. And the thing that I love the most about this sport, and this is why I'm so passionate about these curlers, is all of them. They were excited about the prospect of being in the pro league. All of them were more concerned about how their teammates would react to this, because they were in the pro league. Nobody else, there's no other curler right now who has been invited into Rock League. These discussions and these names and these rosters will be announced kind of later in 2025, leading into the league launch. But that was what was so incredible to me, is like, here these curlers are having an opportunity to be put on a pedestal, to make some real money, and their first thought was, how are my teammates going to react? That is so great. So we worked around that, and we explained to them how we were approaching things, and we gave the captains the ability and the flexibility to communicate with their teammates what was happening, because team dynamic is very important, right? So anyway, those were great meetings. And then in Guelph, during the fourth slam, we had the official kind of contract signing, and it's kind of the worst kept secret in curling to do this, because the one thing I've learned about curlers is, yes, they're great people, but boy, do they like to fucking talk.
They talk.
They like to talk. They like to talk. I got it. Sure, yeah.
That's right. Even former curlers like to talk. Hey, Ryan.
XOXO.
No, I'm just kidding.
XOXO. Gossip curl.
Yeah. Just busting your balls, buddy. No, I mean, but reality is the word hasn't broken.
Yeah.
Right. And that's why today is so exciting, is now we can actually talk about Rock League. Now, people are going to see the incredible logo that's been designed, and eventually we're going to start coming out with the team names and the team logos and team designs, and then the rosters, and
it's going to be very
the broadcast
exciting
team. Like, we have some incredible people that we're talking about being a part of the broadcast, and it's going to be a different type of event. I mean, like, look at Battle of the Sexes. That was so fun.
Yeah.
slide outs, music.
Yep.
Engaging.
An event.
Engaging with sponsors, like the fact that the teams did a Rio Mari social commercial during the game where they're eating tuna. Like, that's just fun.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun.
Sorry, Robbie, just before, I know you want to ask a question, but just initial interviews with the captains available now, rockleague.com. Go ahead.
Nice. No, I'm just sitting here as a fan, just kind of listening to this, and arguably, or I don't even think arguably, this is the most substantial announcement the sport has probably ever seen. Curling, as we know, is in a very generational battle, we will say. So I'm just sitting here thinking, like, as a young curler, if I'm 13, 14, 15, and I'm starting to really get the bug and work my ass off and always dreamt of the Olympics or the slams or the Briars or whatever, the Scotties, how that changes their mindset. Now there's a pro league to work towards. And then on the other hand, I call them the Facebook crew, but our friends who like to comment and don't exactly love change. I'm just wondering if you could kind of say one thing to both those demographics about what this announcement means for the sport, your vision and where it's going. What would that be?
Well, I left Facebook a long time ago, so
Facebook fans out there, the iPad Illuminati.
that's right. This is the only way you're communicating with me.
Smart.
No, I think that to some of the traditional fans who I know love their Facebook, if you love curling, it means you love curlers.
Yeah.
Right? These curlers are all in on this thing. You can't love the sport without loving curlers. You can shit on me all you want, that's fine. But know that the curlers are supporting this. This is yes, of course we want to make money. We want to make a lot of money. But it's the curlers who are going to make significantly more money than they've ever made before.
Yeah.
Right.
And they deserve it.
So you can't be a hypocrite.
No.
You can't love a sport and not love the curler. So that's what I would say to those Facebook people that I never will ever communicate with online. Sorry. Now, the bigger question. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a professional athlete. I grew up in California. I wanted to be a baseball player. And then, then I moved to Canada. I was born in Montreal. Anyway, well, it doesn't matter. And then I wanted to be a professional rugby player, right? Now, when you're an elite 11-year-old, you dream about being a professional athlete if you're a great athlete, right? It's all about dreams, right? It's that emotion. Now, it's hard right now. If you're an elite 11-year-old, and we'll use Canada as an example, even though we're sitting here in incredible Nashville, Tennessee, if you're an elite athlete when you're 11 and 12 years old and you love curling, but you're really good at hockey and you're good at baseball, what dream are you going to chase?
Yeah.
What excites me is the moment when an excited 10, 11, 12, 13-year-old elite athlete who loves curling actually can capture their dream, right? That's what being a sports fan, especially when you're a kid, is all about for me, and I think for a lot of people, right? So when you're an incredibly young athlete, chase your dreams. And now, hopefully, the result of all of this is we're going to be able to create the next wave of incredible generational curlers, because finally these elite athletes can curl and know that there's a career waiting for them. That's the whole. That's the game.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well said. Last one from me, Nick. I think there's definitely going to be fans, and I think it's not demographically limited. I think there are going to be fans out there that are going to say, okay, we know next year we've got 5 slams, we've got the Olympics, we've got the Rock League. That's 2026 mapped out. 2 questions. Number 1, do you see the schedule looking like that moving forward, obviously minus the Olympics? And 2, I think there are going to be some fans who will ask the question, are the slam tournaments still going to look the same? Are we still going to have the National, the Masters, the Canadian Open, the Players? Like, are those all still going to exist? Is that model of the slams going to continue to coexist with Rock League? What's the vision past 2026 looking like in terms of that?
So the biggest question that we've been facing, especially as we've started talking about Rock League more prominently within the world of curling, is calendar.
Yeah.
Calendar has always been something that's been very complicated from a curling perspective, because you're not just dealing with the slams, you're dealing with you know, the individual associations like Curling Canada and USA Curling and stuff, and then World Curling as well. So what I will say is the slams are only going to get bigger, man. We're going to Tahoe next year. Like we will take a slam international outside of North America in the fall of 2027. That is going to, or fall of 2026. That is going to happen. Now, slams are only going to get bigger and better. We've seen that over the last year. Each slam has gotten bigger and better. Slam season will be in the fall, and then Rock League will be every spring. When every spring that's going to happen, we're still working through. We're in constant conversations with the incredible folks at World Curling and Curling Canada and stuff. You know, our goal is not to compete with any other international events. However, Rock League is our business. Rock League is the most important property, in my opinion, to the entire sport of curling, because again, it's going to be the vehicle to inject real revenue into the sport, right? That's what helps fuel growth. So will there ever be a day when we conflict with another, you know, curling event? Yes, perhaps. But I'm working very diligently with the incredible folks in, you know, all of the international associations to help mitigate any of that complexity. Now, we want to have a predictable calendar for the sports fan to understand, oh, this is Rock League season, right? So that is the goal. Because right now, even with slams, with all curling events, it's kind of like, there's one here, there's one there, oh, that's the Briar, the Scotties is there, Worlds are there. Like, it's, man, like, nobody really knows, right? It's hard as you're a casual sports fan to really fall in love with something and keep following it if you don't know when to watch, right? So we need a predictable season, which will happen in the spring of every year, starting obviously next spring of 2026.
Last one for me, and it's very simple. You know, you've kind of been at the mercy of our questions so far, so I just wanted to open it up for you. Is there anything that maybe we missed, you were hoping, you just thought of maybe during the interview, that we're just going to open it up if you want to say anything to the fans and give them any more information that might not have been shared?
I don't know. I've been talking nonstop for about 10 days now.
I was going to say,
I don't know what I've said to who.
I was hoping you were going to say 30 minutes. I was like, no, it's 10 days.
Yeah. No.
11 days.
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, like, I just want to thank you guys.
Oh.
Like, you guys also kind of joined this team. We launched this podcast. You guys have been doing incredible. Like, at the end of the day, it's all about team.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so proud about what we've been able to accomplish this year.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so excited about the future. Like, I'm getting fucking emotional.
I kind of am
I'm
too.
so I'm so excited. Hey, I'm a little scared. We got a lot of work ahead of us. And I'm so tired right now. I can't imagine how everybody, I don't even have to curl tonight. I just got to like stand up. But I'm so excited for the future. And just the fans, like we're going to do this, right? We're going to do this. We're all going to do this together though. It's not just because I'm the loud guy who happens to do these podcasts and do these interviews and stuff. And like, I'm the small part of something fucking awesome. And it involves all of us. It involves all the curlers. It involves the incredible partners that are starting to come to the table, understanding and seeing what we're on the verge of here. Like, this is revolutionary shit, right? And the world falls in love with curling every 4 years. No. The world's going to fall in love with curling every fucking month during every curling kind of season, right? Like, it's right here, right? Just because curling season ends in the summer, these amazing curlers are training. They're going to start posting content. Like, these are stars. And these are stars that you can walk up to and have a drink with. I mean, it's so rare. And I've been around sports and media for a long time. It's so rare when world champions are just normal, awesome folks willing to just have a drink with fans. So rare. After losing a championship game, they take time to sign whatever jersey, whatever picture is standing there. These are special people, right? And that's what this is all about. And so, anyway, you said only one thing, and I said a bunch of things.
Oh, I know.
Sorry about that. anyone who's listened to me talk before knows it's hard to shut me up. So,
Well, we are going to ask you to shut up now, and you can go take a break before the All-Star festivities get underway. Nick, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks to everybody for watching. First ever in-person Broom Brothers. Feels great, and feels even greater that Rock League is officially announced. It's out there. Some of the details, like I said, initial captain's video interviews at rockleague.com. Make sure you're following the Grand Slam of Curling on all the socials. More stuff's going to be coming over the summer into the fall. It is an incredibly exciting time for this sport. We're thrilled to be a part of it. I know you watching at home are too. So thanks again, Nick. Thanks to everybody for tuning in, and we will see you back here very soon. Goodbye.
Howdy.